Today we go over optimizing your workspace. By default, Premiere has 4 main panels, one in each corner of the program, and each one has tabs that are within each panel. That's kind of how it's organized, but of course it's designed so you can customize this exactly how you want it. Now there are already pre-designed workspaces that Adobe created for assembly, editing, color correction, effects, audio, titles, and to jump into your libraries as well. Now if you've been using Premiere for a while, which if you're watching this tutorial, I assume you have, things may not look just like this anymore. Maybe you've played with it over time. If you go to Window, Workspaces, and Reset to Save Layout, it will reset your layout to the last time it was saved. And the two workspaces you'll probably be spending the most time in is editing and probably color correction. Now within editing, I personally don't have my windows looking anything like this at all. I'll have to have a lot of space set aside here for the program window to make sure that my widescreen here fits in nicely. And depending on what I'm doing, if I've got a timeline with a lot of different layers, I got to look at it. I'll probably move it up like this to expand it and get more space for my timeline. A great thing you could do is see these different tabs in here. Let's say you grab the Effects tab, and as you're holding down the left mouse button, you're seeing different places where you can drop that Effects tab. So you can bring it up into this panel here. Now if you drop it into the center space, it's just going to be one more tab. If you click on it and bring it to the side, it has its own panel. It's a brand new panel now, and the only tab in there is Effects. Of course you can grab, let's say, Metadata, and bring that over, and same deal. So now you have a new panel with these different tabs in it. And you can literally customize this to your heart's content. Now let's say you have a layout and you're so happy with it and you don't want to lose this thing. Go to Window, Workspaces, and say Save as New Workspace. And just title it whatever you want. Say OK. And now it's saved both to your workspaces in here. If you go to Window, Workspaces, and it's in there. And it's also saved if you have this top panel here activated, it's here as well. All right, let me jump into one of my files that I was working on a while back. All right, this is the workspace I had for my documentary, Soldiers of Vietnam. Now, this is an extreme example. It's a 50-minute long documentary with a lot of things going on here. I'm going to be putting together a tutorial on assembling a rough cut of a video later, but for right now, because this has to do with putting together your ideal workspace, I want to show you a trick I've learned over the years when you're editing a lot of unscripted content. So I filmed 4 Vietnam veterans telling their stories about an hour each, and then I cut all their stories down to about 50 minutes. But what I did was, each person that I interviewed, I created a timeline for each person. So let's go into Docs. And this is his footage here. But there's different things here that I want to cut and bring it into the main edit, which is this is the main timeline. So here's what I did. So grab the tab. So now it's loose, right? And bring it down here. Now you've got 2 timelines going side by side. Here we go. So we got to be in the dock footage. Now, obviously, the larger the monitor you have, the easier this is. But minimize areas of the timeline that you don't need necessarily, just to make it a little bit easier for you. And that was just easier if you want to say, let's take this clip here and bring it down. There it is. And it doesn't remove it from the original, so this timeline here really can't be messed up. So you're going to be dragging it down and just dropping it into the main timeline, and then from there you can change it and organize it, shuffle it around, and kind of do the fine tweaking there. But I found that this is tremendously helpful, having the multiple timelines up at the same time, and I can kind of drag and drop between the two. And of course, if you like this timeline, you can go up to Window, Workspaces, Save as New Workspace. And in this case, if it's on a project-by-project basis, you can say, my Soldiers of Vietnam workspace. And there you go. So now next time I'm in there, I can say Workspaces, SLV Workspace, there it is. It's saved just as I wanted it. So go in, resize windows and move some tabs around, create new panels, and play with it and just see what works best for you based on whatever project that you're working on. And again, once you find that one that you really like and you say, oh my God, this is perfect, create a new workspace so you have it and it's always saved. And don't be afraid to mess up because, worst case scenario, just go back to one of the default windows or you can just reset to the last saved layout for whatever you're working on. I hope you found that helpful, and special thanks to Matt for suggesting this as a Tip Tuesday video. If you have something you'd like to see, if you have a question, feel free to send me an email at cbtiptuesday@gmail.com or hit me up on Twitter.